Diane Hammond is someone really concerned about the connection between this Road to Home Rescue Support Center, which is in Nassau County, and what was being done up here on Broad Street, which is an out-of-control mess, and it looks like it's being corrected. The DA was there. We'll speak to him later on in the hour. He was there yesterday again. But Diane Hammond has done some research on her own and has some questions that she feels should be aired here this morning. Diane, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning, and thank you. And I hate to start off by making a correction, but it's Madden, Madden. And I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to give some of our dogs from the Hempstead shelter a voice, who are, by the way, still being held captive there.
Okay, so would you describe it? So it's, again, your last name is?
Madden.
Madden, okay. Would you describe yourself as an animal advocate?
That's correct, and essentially a whistleblower for anything improper within our own $5 million tax dollar funded animal shelter. It goes way back, but you know I do want to keep the focus on this Road to Home issue and Kim Strong and basically the scheme to defraud the public.
Okay.
Having sent our dogs up there with no real reason to do so.
And you say no real reason to do so because you say you already have a facility there that could handle these dogs.
We absolutely do. We have a facility that currently has over a $5 million budget. And when I say we, myself and other advocates have been pleading since 2014. This issue dates way back for us to please not send our dogs to Kim Strong or anyone else. By the way, this is the second time our director, Michael Pastori from Hempstead Shelter, has sent dogs into dangerous situations where the so-called rescue and train centers were either shut down by the state or in Road to Home's case, now being under an investigation by the DA and evicted. So with a budget like that, there's no excuse. We should be the hub of rescue and behavior, but instead our shelter has been used as a political ATM machine and basically an employment agency.
Okay, Diane, you're at some point you say that Kim Strong was down in your area at a public meeting. Do you have any knowledge of that?
Yes, at a public meeting along with Elise Skirko and Ashley O'Neill. This was just months ago that they came out publicly to urge the board to pass an additional resolution to basically take dogs that had been languishing in our shelter with no help for $4,200 each. Prior to that, Kim Strong signed a $30,000 contract with our town board, again, to take allegedly, behavior dogs that, again, were not necessarily had come in as behavior issue dogs, but because our town supervisor had allowed them to languish in cages without bringing in accredited, qualified trainers, they basically were washing each other's hands. And that's why I say this is a scheme to defraud the public, because at the same time as the town supervisor brought in Kim Strong for a $30,000 contract, they hired a fraudulent imposter that basically admitted on her own resume here down in Hempstead that she wanted to learn about animal behavior to the tune of $109,000 taxpayer dollars a year. So they had to hide that position and take the dogs that she could not touch or rehabilitate, much less help in any way, and sift them and ship them to Kim.
Okay, so your claim is that your facility, the Hempstead Shelter, the reason the dogs were being shipped up here is because they had, for lack of a better, anger issues, or they were dogs that might be termed dangerous, and you're saying that they were shipped up here because you didn't have anybody down there that had been hired that could handle dangerous dogs like these.
Well, That's partly true because the fact of the matter is there's nobody even at our shelter to properly assess that kind of behavior. So there's the problem. Basically, it's not that we didn't have anyone. It's that our board and our supervisor hired someone incapable as a political favor instead of hiring highly qualified people. So they signed a $139,000 contract. 30 of it went to Kim, and 109 went to a fraudulent contract that, by the way, is not being renewed because they realize it's fraudulent.
Ultimately, $30,000 is not that much money. When you and I get it, it is a lot of money, but it really isn't if you're running a facility. At the same time, do you feel that Kim presented herself as someone who was authenticated, licensed, trained, qualified, trained and qualified to handle these animals?
No, not at all. Not at all.
She didn't present herself that way.
It never passed the sniff test for myself, for anyone else. What was troubling is that Kim kept trying to get all of this money accumulated, as did Road to Home, and yet they were never showing the public, any real adoption stories. You should have been seeing a lot of adoption stories, a lot of happy endings, a lot of improved training, a lot of the condition of the dogs. In fact, one of the reasons why Kim's contract was severed the first time is because she refused to adhere to the contract, which required updated videos of the dogs. So we weren't getting that, and that that was part of the problem. But the town board and our town supervisor Laura Gillen, who basically campaigned on animals, well, she did campaign on animals, have failed them more than Kim Strong or Road to Home put together, because they have been very much aware since 2014, especially since 2016, right up to a few months ago when they tried to solicit another $4,200 plus donation money to Road to Home. They've been very much aware of this. And again, my whole mission right now is to get our dogs back.
Right.
It's very suspicious to me that Liz Fox, who, by the way, has been a big supporter of Kim Strong and Road to Home.
By the way, she's with the Nassau County SPCA?
Correct, which was, by the way, Road to Home's rescue reference in getting this $4,200 contract. So there's a lot of conflicts there. Why isn't Liz Fox demanding that Town of Hempstead and its $5 million budget come and get their dogs? I mean, you had the DA there yesterday. He's looking to close up. He's looking to, his ongoing investigation. Why are our dogs still there?
Yeah, I do have to wonder that it looks like that this woman from your neck of the woods is here,
Liz Fox,
and it's kind of interesting because she had said that on Friday Kim Strong basically said she's not coming back, and they took the whole weekend to clean things up. The DA was there on Monday to take a look at the facility. This is the same conversation I think we had like a month ago, right? They knew that the authorities were going to be coming. They cleaned things up. When they got there, things were cleaned up. But it was admitted by this woman from the SPCA that the conditions were pretty bad, and they had to clean everything up over the weekend, and now they have it under control. The question is, how bad was it before Friday?
Very bad. And it's a question of who you ask whether they have it under control or not. We're getting a lot of feedback on our end of very concerned residents in Utica that are going in there, that are trying to help, that are still being rejected, that are still being told no, no, no. And there's a lot of concern there. And I'm very concerned, especially about the oversight. Liz Fox was not the person to put in charge there. There's a conflict. And, it's very concerning.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm told that she was bit severely last night. There should be, highly qualified trainers and behaviorists assessing every one of those dogs. And again, anyone responsible there would be reaching out to a $5 million budgeted facility to take their dogs back. And I think we have about 10 or 12 of them. And I've heard from a lot of good, hardworking residents of Utica saying, why did they even send these dogs here? Mm-hmm. And an investigator from the DA's office asked me the same thing. And that's the question.
Do you feel that the laws in New York State are weak when it comes to dealing with issues like this?
Absolutely. But then again, the lawmakers are the ones that should be pushing for those laws, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Everyone looks to the public to do this. This is up to, the lawmakers and enforcement agencies and the politicians especially to get together. I'd love to talk to the mayor at some point. He seems, and I've been told, he's a big animal lover, that absolutely in the long run, and to me that's phase 2. Phase 1 is getting our dogs back to Hempstead, getting all of those dogs into safety, and, not tolerating this cover-up that's going on in that building still.
All right. Diane, I appreciate your time. We're going to have the DA on in about 10 minutes or so, and we'll chat with him about what he witnessed yesterday. But from what we understand, the place was cleaned up to the point where they really had their hands were tied. There's not much they could do. However, these dogs, there are about 60 of them, maybe a little fewer than that right now. But I don't know how these volunteers were able to handle all these dogs because the facility.
Well, they're not. They're already by cases, and that was, Liz Fox, who's supposed to be overseeing it all.
Yeah.
I will ask you, though, if I could please put out a phone number there for the public to contact Laura Gillen, who's the town supervisor, who's basically had her head in the sand, who has brushed under the rug a scathing audit that just came out of our shelter from Nassau County Controller Jack Shearman. Can I put a number out there for people to please call to urge her to get our dogs back? I'm told by our town attorney he's made a way to do that. It's not him obstructing it. It's Laura Gillen. Can I put a number out there for
Is this an office number?
Correct.
Okay, sure.
It's there are two numbers, 516-812-3260. Again, 516-812-3260 or 516-489-5000, 516-489-5000. Ask for Supervisor Laura Gillen. And again, I urge the DA and Liz Fox and the mayor to encourage Laura Gillen to come and pick up our dogs. We'd like them home.
Okay.
We'd like them properly assessed, and we'd like to have our tax dollars spent where it should be spent, where Jack Shearman, the controller, agreed we need animal care experts here, and we're going to demand that.
All right, Diane, and just for the record, I don't think that we were in a situation here where we had this absence of stray dogs that needed that needed adoptions. There are plenty of dogs right here in this area that need to be dealt with. Yeah. There's only one reason why you'd bring in all these dogs from downstate is because there was a $4,200 ticket attached to each one. So.
Well, and a $5 million budget. Again, this is a scheme to defraud the public, but it hurt no one more than the dogs and the Utica residents who, I'm sure, just like us, are trying to put food on their tables and find homes for their own dogs. And these dogs in Hempstead, by town officials, were not rescued. That was not for the purpose of saving them. This was the purpose for hiding them.
Okay.
So, and there's also, by the way, a great page out there, Save the Road to Home Utica Dogs. It's a Facebook page that's been updated, the most accurate information. We're not getting accurate information from Road to Home. They are failing these dogs continually. So, again, the public should check Save the Road to Home Utica Dogs.
All right, Diane. Thank you for your time, and we appreciate it.
And, I hope we'll be up there soon to get our dogs, at least 12 of them, and that should help out. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. We'll break birthdays and news, and then our free money question coming up. After that, the Oneida County DA, Scott McNamara, on this issue. Just when you think things are quieting down a little bit, there's a crazy issue like this that pops up. And where in the world do these guys think they were going to be able to handle 150 dogs?
Yeah, it's incredible.
With problems, right? These are dogs, and Sal Piazza was correct. If these are dogs that tender loving care is probably not going to correct the problems that have been, in some cases, beaten into these dogs. So I don't know what they're thinking.
We got another source. I had another source text me this morning. They say witnesses do say that there was a 911 call due to a dog bite there last night. So.
Okay, all right.
Can I just say one other thing? I appreciate our guests for coming out and explaining and giving us a different perspective than what we had heard locally. I mean, we did hear some whispers of this. It's nice to hear someone from down there. When she says things like scheme to defraud and a cover-up and all these things, we don't know that. I understand that's her position, and the DA's office is looking into it. we'll get an update from Scott next, but I just don't want to get caught up in something where we're throwing allegations
I agree.
at them.
Yeah, I think that
So
we're
that's her opinion. That's not our take on this.
And she is an animal advocate. So you know,
and if
so
charges
was
are
Kim.
filed,
so was what?
So
Kim.
was Kim at one point, too.
That is well, I think Kim would probably still say that she is.
Yeah.
and if charges are filed, certainly we'll report on it. But to this point, our understanding is nothing.
Problem
has been filed.
is that the laws, and we've seen this with the DA here, is that it's one thing for everybody to say, well, why aren't you doing this, and why isn't this happening? Why haven't you arrested them? There are still laws on the books that the district attorney's office has to follow, and police agencies have to follow. So it's easy to say out there there's a big cover-up and all of that. But I do wonder, if you have this giant facility and you have all these empty spaces, what are you sending them up here for? Unless you're trying to populate this facility and you're doing it for the cash. I don't know.